We have a philosophy, and that's mortgage lending made easy.
We list it, and then we're in it together, like a marriage until it closes.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Up to Date in Real Estate with
Claire.
and David. Today we want to talk about, now that you've got your home,
What do you do?
what do you do? What do you do? I am asking, what do you do?
What do you do? Well, now you have this whole team of people.
So we're talking about before we close. You found the property you want,
You found the property that you want. You have it. Everything is signed.
everything's signed. So the agreements are in, this is what we want, and you've got now to rely on your real estate agent, your mortgage professional, your insurance professional, your legal professional, your inspectors. So how does that process go?
So I would say from the loan officer, what would be the first thing that you would advise?
Well, when you found the property, it was then going to have to go through the steps of, you know, are we going to, does it have an inspection? So you have to schedule the appraisal. And the appraiser has to go out and then verify the value of the property.
But don't you think there's that little, simple little thing that we all forget, that we need to tell the borrowers after they purchase their home because they're so excited?
Oh, once you get an assigned agreement,
Yes.
as in to don't rack up your credit cards buying furniture.
Furniture.
New cars.
Yes. Yes.
Right, yes. that's
Don't buy
important.
anything.
This is about what to do, not what not to do, right? It's
Yes.
definitely don't do that.
Yes.
Right.
So don't buy anything.
No, just wait. Be
Wait till you
patient.
close.
Right, absolutely.
That's a great piece of advice because then, unfortunately, you may not be able to close.
It's happened.
And that would be horrible.
It would be terrible. It's
Yes.
devastating.
Yes.
For not only the buyer, but for the seller.
For
and
everybody
everyone
involved.
Absolutely.
Yes, that would be
Yes.
horrible.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and now you have the house. You're not spending money. You're not opening new credit cards. You're not
No.
buying new cars, new trucks to help you move. You're not doing
No.
anything like that. But you do need to have the appraisal done.
Yes.
And that is something that happens separate from the borrower and the real estate agents and even the mortgage professional, because you go through a separate entity to order that appraisal, and then at their direction, they then select at random a real estate appraiser who will then go to the property and conduct the appraisal. And then when that appraisal comes back, it will then either verify or invalidate that agreed upon purchase price if you're going through a mortgage. If it's a cash purchase, it may be done only for the to reassure the buyer, and you can put it as part of the contract, saying that, you know, providing the property appraises at this amount, then I will pay this cash to you for this property.
But borrowers don't go to the appraisal.
No,
No.
neither do the sellers. It's usually
No.
just someone is let in
The listing agent
by the
usually.
listing agent to
Yes.
go for the appraiser on his own, her own, goes in, evaluates the property, and sends back a report.
Yes.
And that report is going to be the deciding factor, the lesser of the two. If it appraises over what the selling price is, the selling price will be the factor determined for the loan to value as it relates to the mortgage. If it appraises under the purchase price, the appraisal will be used to determine the loan to value as to the mortgage.
Yes.
So that's that part of it. So now we've got the appraisal. Appraisal works out, you've got your contract in, and then now what do you do?
Now you schedule a home inspection.
A home inspection, before or after the appraisal?
I usually do it beforehand
Yes, right.
because you usually want to know if there's any problems before moving forward.
Right, and the inspection usually is a lesser cost than the appraisal.
Absolutely.
So you want to mitigate, you know, your costs
Yes.
as you're moving along through the process. So being, you know, pragmatic, you want to go through the inspection, make sure that there's no infestations, there's no rot, there's nothing to be worried about with respect to the actual structural integrity of the home.
Again, note that the seller is not there because the borrower purchases that time.
Yes.
to be there with the home inspector.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody in the family who wants to come see the house, now is the time to come and see the house.
And that's before the appraisal. So even though they can't be part of the appraisal process, they definitely are involved in the inspection process.
Yes.
And they could point out, what is that?
Yes.
What does this look like? Why
Yes.
does that look like this?
Yes,
And then you're, okay,
yes.
sure.
And so they're looking for structural, electrical, plumbing, all of those things. Again, that's when you ask all those questions. Those are the things, if your mother's there and wants to know the size of the rooms, the size of the windows, that's when you take all those measurements if you want to do that. Because you're there for, a couple hours, depending on the square footage of the house.
Absolutely. That's a really good time to get in there, check out the water pressure, all these things that may be significant to you as a homeowner once you take ownership of the property. Yeah,
Absolutely,
sure.
absolutely.
So that we have the inspection, we've got the appraiser, and the appraiser comes back and it's, it supports, and you've got to the, so basically the idea is working with the real estate agent and you negotiate between the agents, find out what you're going to offer, the offers that gets accepted, then the next step is going to be scheduling the inspections, looking for things like radon gas, infestations, mold, doors work correctly, faucets work correctly, that the house is intact and in functioning order. Looking at the furnace, the air conditioning unit, whatever the case may be, making sure that when you get through the inspection part of it, the inspector can visually see everything, you make all the questions made that you need and get the answers that you're looking for, then comes to the point of the appraisal, and then beyond that you go to the closing.
Correct.
Okay.
So now, mind you, you have all these people working with you, for you. So it's a team. So all these people you can contact. So you have questions about how the closing works. You can call the paralegal. You can call your attorney. You have a question about the home inspection. You can call your home inspector. Maybe you have a question about your loan. So you have a whole group of people that are there just to make this process work for you. And I don't think people realize that you can call upon this team of people. So I think it's so important that people should realize that they should utilize all of these people. You paid for it, so use it.
Well, and part of the closing agent and what they do there is they also look into the title, the actual validity, if you will, of the parcel of property you're looking to buy. So they go through and they do a title search to making sure there's no liens or encumbrances upon the property itself. And they make sure that all of the zoning is correct, that it's actual legal property, because it has happened in the past. Where
Absolutely.
properties say, well, you are not zoned correctly, and after the closing, now guess who's responsible?
Yeah.
And if you have something like in the past where it used to be part of a industrial site, and you're purchasing this property, and you come to find out later that you've got to have an inspection and there's some contamination in the property, you don't go back to the person who sold it to you. You're responsible. You're the owner. It's your situation, and that's what all that is for. So you're paying for the inspector, you're paying for the appraiser, you're paying for the attorney, and all of these things are working in concert, making sure that you as the homeowner is the person acquiring a property that's not going to be a headache. You're not going to have, it's not guaranteed, but for the most part, you're looking at the water heaters, the furnaces, the air conditioning, the functionality of the doors, the house, et cetera, the garage doors, all these things you can think about. There's a million things to do, but once you have everyone working in concert, they're all working for the benefit of the home buyer and looking to make sure that when you're making a purchase, that purchase is being made in your best possible situation, so you're being protected.
Yes.
So that's why you have all these people. That's why you have this process. That's why it takes weeks to get it done, because there's so many moving parts, and our job is just to make it look easy. Let's find something you like. Let us worry about making sure it all goes in order. Let us make sure that we are tying down and getting you to the person who's a competent inspector, giving you some options of people to choose from there. Some referrals that we've used in the past, using appraisal company who's familiar with the area, getting involved with an attorney who is an actual real estate attorney, As laws have changed, it used to be that a notary or anyone practicing law can make a close, and that's still the case. But with the way the laws are written today, it could be difficult or even disadvantaged to use someone who's not familiar with the Truth in Lending Real Estate Settlement and Procedures Act integration disclosure laws, because those things coming together and the time frames that are required therein could possibly, even though they're competent, could possibly delay the closing, and it could cost you money. So making sure that you're dealing with a real estate attorney, a closing agent, if you will, that will also help. So there's many processes, but putting all those things together, finding a good team, having those professionals at your beck and call, making sure that they are available to you. So if you have a question about the title, if you have a question about the property as a real estate parcel, you speak to your real estate agent. If you have a question about the mortgage, you talk to the mortgage professional. These things are there to help protect and make sure you're making a great decision.
Yes.
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 When you're buying a home, this is really kind of something for you. I mean, it's really sure. I mean,
Okay.
we sent out a newsletter
Yes.
at Cheney Mortgage this past Thursday, and it was all about making your home pet friendly. You want to have having an area for your pet, a personal eating area, so you put down a dog bowl, a mat, so you're not tracking food all over the house. They have these mats you could put down that helps contain and help the dog feel comfortable, or the cat. You can install paw-friendly surfaces, so where you're coming in and out, if you have a concrete patio where there's high traffic, you could possibly put down, some turf, that the green turf you've seen
Yes.
being used. It helps, for the hot summers, or even in, just basically helping protect the paws so they are more comfortable. And you could also build a mud room, and a mud room is going to be allowing the pets to come inside. So you have an area that really allows you to get the outside, keeps the outside from coming inside. So you really want to have that space, and it's also for yourself and children as well. And having a mud room or an access area into the home, giving that buffer from your yard to your kitchen or your front living room, whatever it is, having that area to almost, I don't want to say decontaminate, but sometimes the outside should stay outside. And you also want to, if you can, you may want to put in a doggy door. And these doggy doors today are, or a kitty door. My neighbor has a setup in the window, and the cat has a collar. So when the cat comes close, the cat can get through the door.
Really?
Yeah, and it's locked. It has this brace. It's a whole system, so the cats can come and go as they please.
Well, I'd like to interject and say that Ann Miller Real Estate did a newsletter, and we did it about food
Did you?
and barbecuing.
Oh,
Yes, we went right for the food
well,
and how to barbecue. Keep things at temperature and don't leave things out. So we were all about the food.
well.
Yes.
Who's
and
not
you were
about
all
the
about
food?
the dog houses and the dog.
The dog. Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. Well, the whole point too is that many people, millennials today, and people are looking to buy homes today, and a lot of the questions you've seen, there are people who are looking to have houses they can just move into. They don't have to do a lot of work to. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. So making these accommodations. For example, if you do a mud room, or if you do have specified areas. Making the house pet friendly could make your house more marketable to someone who's seeking it's house hunting. Someone who says, I can't get an apartment because I have this dog. I'm going to buy a home.
And do you know a lot of people too have separate rooms just for their dogs?
Really?
Yes, they
Smart.
have dog beds, dog little playrooms. Yes.
Yes. Stay off the
'Cause-
couch.
Well, no, because they're just like their children.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes. So,
See, me, it's all about stay off the leather. Just stay off. Stay in the other room.
okay. Okay.
But those are the things.
Yes.
I think that's helpful.
I do. I agree.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll be back again soon to talk more about real estate and what's going on, and some things to expect.
All right.
Tune in next
Thank you.
time. Tell your friends about us, right?
Yes, please do.